Well, welcome back to the third and final portion of the racing on this edition of Pirate Videos. Well, today it's a sunny bank holiday Monday as Pirates go into action again, and it's the return of Eastbourne. And with me, Neil Middleditch. It's a different day and a different team, perhaps. I'm not sure, obviously without Mark Laram, but last time we saw the Eagles here, it was a comfortable victory for the Pirates. I'm sure it's going to be different today.
Yeah, I think absolutely right. I think we just caught them on the hop that day, and everybody went well. As I say, tonight's going to be different. Yes, they're without Mark, but they've got certainly an adequate replacement in Leigh Richardson, who certainly knows his way around the Poole circuit. So it's going to be hard, yeah, for sure.
We haven't spoken to you since really the season really got underway. Are you happy with the way the Pirates have begun?
I think some of the boys are possibly underachieving. I mean, everybody sort of tips us as the favourites, but I think, maybe the pressure's off us now and the sort of people are overlooking us. We've let some, silly points slip, against Peterborough. We should have got the bonus point. We made really hard work of it, and that's what we're doing. We're just making hard work of things, and I've just got to get all the boys firing together, and that seems to be the problem. Somebody has a good night, somebody has a bad night, and obviously Tony had his engine problems, which hopefully he's got sorted out now.
Well, I was going to mention that because we watched in angst, of course, with Tony's difficulties. Very unusual, I've got to say, that Tony gets those kind of problems. Yeah. Do you think we're over the worst of it?
Well, yeah, as I say, I think, Tony works really, really hard when he does have a problem. I think 15 meetings, he had 13 engine failures, which is unheard of. But last week he had a tremendous win against Peterborough, and night before 15-point maximum in Sweden. So hopefully he's over the worst of his problems, or well, all of the problems hopefully, and we can just concentrate now on the league.
Okay, well, we did get an opportunity to speak to Tony a few minutes ago in the pits, and I have to say that we put it to him whether or not he felt his mechanical problems were over.
Yeah, the bike's been stopping. It's been all various different problems. We had some carburation problem, ignition problems, and engine problems.
All together, do you think that it's been sorted out now?
No, it's motorsport. It never gets sorted out. When I started the season, we've done all the work and the stuff we could do to have it sorted out, but it wasn't, so nothing else you can do. It's just motorsport.
You just have to keep trying.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Now, last week, Leigh said that he thought the Pirates should be winning by more, that you're making it hard for yourself. Would you agree with that?
Definitely.
What do you think the Pirates can do to change that situation?
I don't know, I felt we all really got going really good the other week, again, home and away against Eastbourne, and started to really get pumped, and then just we kind of, didn't really have a all solid team effort on the other night, so, well, we just got to keep plugging away. It's not much you can do more than keep trying.
We were asked by the fans when we talked to the fans if all the riders are happy with the way the track is prepared. Is that something you're comfortable with?
I like all speed tracks as long as they're round and 2 straights and 2 corners, The track is same for everybody, and it's just something you have to get on with and ride.
Now, last time Eastbourne were here, obviously they're back today with a quick return. It was a comfortable victory for the Pirates. Different story today. Obviously, Mark, tragically, not in the side. His place is taken by Leigh Richardson. But are you expecting to come up against a different side today?
Yeah, I sure think they're going to be extremely tough to beat today. They've been here once, and I think they learned a lot from that meeting, and they're coming back today, and they're going to be really pumped to beat us, so it's going to be a tough match.
And finally, of course, we're running towards the Grand Prix now. With the difficulties that we've just spoken about with motor problems, are you as prepared as you'd like to be?
No, I never enough prepared, but I'll do my best.
Okay, well, we'll be with you and rooting for you.
Okay, thank you.
Well, clearly Eastbourne are without their number one, Mark Laram, with that arm injury sustained on Bank Holiday Friday, Good Friday, last time the Pirates met at Arlington. Well, we asked Dean Barker whether or not he'd had a chance to check up on Mark and whether he was feeling a bit better.
Yeah, he's a lot better. He had a major break in his arm, which would keep a lot of people out a long time. But lucky enough, he's got away with. Obviously he's done a lot of damage to his arm, but he's pretty good at the moment, so that's good.
It's going to put a lot of pressure on all of the Eagles and perhaps yourself as well. But you've been going very well, and I see that you've actually topped the averages for the Eagles so far this year.
That's right. I can't count my chickens. It's early days. I've only done 7 or 8 matches, but. It's sort of losing Mark's a bit of a shock for us all. He's a great guy to have around so far, but I think it's only going to be a matter of weeks before he's back joining us, and if we can just keep up going the way we are, ride replacement or guess. Mark's got a good average, so we've seemed to have sort of got some good guess, but hopefully we can keep it up.
Last time at Wimborne Road is a disappointing performance by your own standards for the whole team, really. Things going to be different today?
I do hope so. We come here in the morning, and it's diabolical, really. It was so hot. They can't do nothing with the track anyway, but I don't prepare tracks, so I can't really comment on it. But at the end of the day, I rode the thing or tried to ride it. and we all did, but we just couldn't find a setup that was working for us.
Well, wish you better luck tonight. I'm sure we're going to see a great spectacle.
Thanks very much.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Nina.
Thanks.
Well, on this bank holiday and with sunny conditions, the Elite League fixture between the Pirates and Eastbourne getting underway with race number 1, and the Pirates are without their number 2 rider, Krzysztof Kaprizak, still studying in Poland for those vital examinations. So Leigh ADAMS and rider replacement for Krzysztof Kaprizak, with Lee Richardson, the guest for Mark Lorham, and Dean Barker. Of course, Mark Lorham with that rather bad injury when the Pirates had their Easter weekend fixture there, and taking rather nasty tumble, is going to be out for about another 6 weeks with that broken arm. But who better to come in and take his place as a guest than Lee Richardson, the rider who did so much damage to the Pirates when the Coventry Bees won here in an Elite League fixture. Pirates off the outside starting positions. Lee Richardson in the green helmet is the danger man to Leigh ADAMS in the red helmet, and indeed it's Lee Richardson and Leigh ADAMS who have a dice up into the first bend. Lee Richardson drifts wide, ADAMS underneath, with Dean Barker showing well, and Lee Richardson gets eclipsed by Leigh ADAMS on the first lap. Leigh ADAMS now moving into a comfortable lead from Lee Richardson and Dean Barker. The rider in blue for Poole is David Ruud, rider replacement, trailing at the back of the field, and with half the race gone, it's Leigh ADAMS in a comfortable lead, that armchair style that we're so familiar with already this season, and inevitably out in front, the hero for the Pirates in their last fixture here against Peterborough, with that absolutely crucial last bend pass on Ryan Sullivan to ensure that the Pirates took the Elite League fixture points. They didn't win the bonus point, they certainly took 2 valuable league points, and Leigh ADAMS hoping to be leading the Pirates to 2 more league points here against the Eastbourne Eagles with that fine race 1 win after that little bit of a first bend dice up there with Lee Richardson. Came through and took the 3 points, but with the minor placement going to the Eagles, it's a draw, 3 to each side. So we're on to Heat 3, and it's always a crucial one for Poole, because their pairing of Lukas DRYML and Bjarne PEDERSEN have had mixed fortunes this season, more good than bad, but Lukas DRYML has steadily improved his form, whilst Bjarne PEDERSEN's been rather in the doldrums. But it looks like it's Lukas that's in trouble at the moment, because he's got bike trouble and he's got less than 2 minutes. Looks like he's possibly given up on that bike and signalling over to the pits. They obviously looking for bike number 2, and the clock's ticking. So high drama here as Leigh ADAMS comes across the centre green with a bike which we can see quite clearly is working, and that looks like a Leigh ADAMS bike. So Lukas DRYML will not be on his own machine this time, and high drama in front of the Sky cameras as Leigh hands the bike over to Lukas. Not huge differences between these bikes, but obviously they are set up exactly to match the needs of the individual rider. We're quite sure that there's plenty of speed there, because we've already seen Leigh ADAMS demonstrate exactly what he's made of with that Heat 1 victory. And it's just now a question of whether Lukas DRYML can get his head around the setup and make the most of it. So Lukas DRYML on grid 4, Bjarne PEDERSEN on 2, it's David Norris in green and Joonas KYLMAKORPI in yellow, as David Norris gets a good gate and leads from Lukas DRYML and Bjarne PEDERSEN, and Lukas DRYML already making that Leigh ADAMS bike move, and attempts an outside pass at the end of lap 1 there, switching back to the inside of Dave Norris, and it looks like he's come through on the inside with a lovely pass. And Bjarne PEDERSEN trying something similar, but not quite happening for him as it did for Lukas. But despite that switch of equipment, Lukas DRYML shows his liking for this Wimborne Road track, and coming round to cross the line with 1 lap to go. There goes the yellow flag with David Norris sitting in for second place. Bjarne PEDERSEN tucked in for third, something we're quite accustomed to seeing this season, but it's an all-important third because it's shutting out the rider in yellow, Joonas KYLMAKORPI. And first heat win of the evening for the Pirates, 4 points to 2, moving the scoreline along to Poole 10, Eastbourne 8, and Lukas DRYML, the heat winner, does it the hard way from the back and well received by the Wimborne Road crowd. Well, the Pirates have broken the deadlock, and now we've got the battle of the skippers with Tony Rickardsson in the red helmet and Joe Screen in the green helmet. The respective captains of the Pirates and the Eagles coming out to do battle first outing on the track today here in race 4. And for good measure, for Poole in the blue helmet and off the grid 2 position, we've got Davey WATT. And let's see how he fares this time against Frank Smart in the yellow helmet, who was a good second in his opening race here and looked quite lively. So they're coming into line then for this 4th race. And it's sunny bank holiday Monday here at Wimborne Road. Brought out a good crowd and great match in prospect for the Elite League points between these two sides. Tony Rickardsson on the wide outside and shoots from the taste, but in fact Davey WATT gets an even better gate and right round the pairing of Joe Screen and Frank Smart, and he obviously means business. Tony Rickardsson joins him around the outside, and the 5-1 is distinctly on the cards here, with Joe Screen trailing right at the back. Frank Smart of the 2 Eastbourne rider looking the more lively, and this stage Davey WATT looks very comfortable with Tony Rickardsson as usual using all the dirt and on the wide outside having a good old go, but Davey WATT obviously didn't really like what happened to him in Heat 2 when he trailed in last, and was absolutely sure that wasn't going to happen to him again. And with a lap to go, he's sitting with a very comfortable second place position. Unless anything awful happens to him, he's going to get second place behind the skipper Tony Rickardsson. This will move Poole into a 5-1 and to a 6-point lead. Indeed, that is the way it happens. A great ride from the Pirates duo. Tony Rickardsson the winner. Very impressive Davey WATT in second place, Joe Screen and Frank Smart for Eastbourne, and scoreline 15 to the Pirates, 9 to the Eagles. So here we go on to heat number 5, and moving into gate 1, Lukas DRYML. He's on his number 2 machine after that problem in heat 3 when he seized a brand new engine, so he's on the number 2 bike. Let's hope for the Poole Pirates' sake that it's every bit as fast as Leigh ADAMS' machine, which he won in such fine style. He's joined by Bjarne PEDERSEN on grid 3, and for Eastbourne it's that formidable 1 and 2 pairing of Leigh Richardson in the green helmet off the gate 4 and Dean Barker in yellow moving from grid 2. So this quite a stern challenge for the Pirates duo this time. We know exactly what Leigh Richardson's capable of here. Certainly a very able deputy for Mark Loram, but this time Lukas DRYML is away. Not the same for Bjarne PEDERSEN, but Leigh Richardson goes around the outside and then tucks back under, looking for a gap, but Lukas DRYML moving into the lead, and that's a very good first bend by the Czech to lead Leigh Richardson, but Bjarne PEDERSEN goes around Dean Barker, and he is determined to make that 3rd place his own once again. A very good ride by the Dane for Poole that time, but he's still coming under pressure for 3rd and 4th place there, with Dean Barker right on his tail. I don't think that Leigh Richardson is going to get anywhere near Lukas DRYML, even though Lukas is on his number 2 bike. He's way out in the lead now, looking comfortable with a lap to go. Second place then Leigh Richardson. They're getting well spaced out with at this stage of the race on the last lap. Half a lap to go. Lukas DRYML, barring any unforeseen incident, is going to take that yellow flag. It's going to be another heat win to the Pirates, with already a 6-point lead going to an 8-point lead, with a win to Lukas DRYML, 2nd Leigh Richardson, 3rd Bjarne PEDERSEN, and 4th to Dean Barker. That's 19 points to the Pirates, 11 to the Eagles. coming into line for heat 6, and reading across from the inside in green, Joe Screen. Disappointing in his opening ride. I'm sure we'll see an improvement as he makes the necessary adjustments. Lining up alongside him, the rider replacement for Christoph Kasperzak is Davey Watt, and how much improved he was in his second race after 4 laps to get the feel of today's track. Alongside him in yellow is Adam Shields, and on the grid 4 position on the wide outside is Leigh ADAMS. And Leigh ADAMS incidentally set up the fastest time of the season, not the track record, but certainly the fastest time in 2003 here at Wimborne Road in Heat 1, 58.5 seconds. So he's obviously flying today, and but he doesn't quite make it in front this time. Once again, it's Davey Watt who shows up well, but Leigh ADAMS cutting back up the inside superbly, and Davey Watt around the outside. One either side there of Joe Screen. That's good racing, and Joe Screen hitting back, but Leigh ADAMS coming in to protect his Aussie teammate Davey Watt with that bit of team riding, and he's covering him with Joe Screen all over them. But this is another 5-1 on the cards here, and another race involving Davey Watt, and this time Leigh ADAMS is looking to switch to the outside and Davey Watt to the inside. The Pirates 5-1 still on the cards, with Joe Screen in third, Adam Shields trailing at the back of the field. With a lap to go, Leigh ADAMS out in front from Davey Watt. Another 5-1 very much on the cards with half a lap to go. It doesn't look as if Joe Screen's got the horsepower to catch up here, and coming around the final bend, it's going to be another 5-1 maximum to the Pirates, and they do extend their lead even further by 12 points now. Leigh ADAMS the winner, Davey Watt second. That Davey Watt bank holiday performance against the Eagles being replicated here at Wimborne Road this evening, with 2 second places behind his team partner. Joe Screen could only manage a third, Adam Shields fourth, so that's maximum win to the Pirates. Heat number 10, and David Norris last up to the tapes, just getting himself and his bike recovered from 2 on the trot, having just come out as a tack sub. He's got 5 points from his 3 outings, and he lines up in the green helmet alongside Joonas KYLMAKORPI, who's had 2 pointless rides so far. Joonas in the yellow helmet. Pirates track Leigh ADAMS in the red helmet, and a reserve replacement ride from Davey Watt. He's already had 4 races this evening, and come second in 3 of them, and certainly showing some very snappy gating. Wonder if this race is going to be the same. It certainly is, because he's away in the lead with Leigh ADAMS alongside him, and KYLMAKORPI and David Norris trailing at the back for Eagles. Strange how the Eagles 1 minute, just 2 days ago in fact, they were on their own track at Arlington, and they beat the Peterborough Panthers by 20 points, which is no mean feat, because the Panthers really are flying this season, in second place in the league. But the Eagles don't always travel well, and certainly in recent seasons have had problems here at Wimborne Road, unlike some of the other visitors who seem to relish their visits here. But Leigh ADAMS way out in front, showing a clean pair of wheels to the opposition, and Davey Watt super sub, number 7, and he's going well for Kings Lynn, and on the occasions he's been called upon for the Pirates, he has responded in fine style, as he's doing this evening, because he's holding that second place. It'll be his 4th second place of the evening, although KYLMAKORPI trying an all-or-nothing burst around the last corner, came to nothing. Leigh ADAMS then way out in front, 3 races, 3 wins for him. Davey Watt up to 8 points, 5-1 to the Pirates now, 39 points to 21 their lead. Convincing stuff from the home side. On to Heat 13 then, with that impressive 22-point lead for the Pirates. Just 3 heats remaining. Big Guns Heat 13 up next, with Leigh ADAMS in red off grid 1. He's joined by Lee Richardson in the green helmet, who's alongside him. TR Tony Rickardsson in blue moves from grid 3. 3 races, 3 wins for him. As for Leigh ADAMS, of course, 3 races, 3 wins. And the Eagles skipper Joe Screen in the yellow helmet on grid 4. Joe's been consistent, but consistently in third place, because he's come third in each of his opening 3 races. Such the vagaries of Speedway, though, he could equally go out and win this auspicious race here, such as the quality of this this lineup. But Pirates now be feeling quite comfortable about their trip to Eastbourne next weekend. They be looking to restrict the Eagles, or obviously they'll be looking for a win if possible, certainly to get the bonus point. Up go the tapes, and Leigh ADAMS holds the first bend advantage and the inside line, with Tony Rickardsson sandwiched between Screen and Richardson. In fact, he's having an inside attempt at passing Leigh Richardson. Leigh Richardson got the speed coming out of that, the drive from the outside, so Tony Rickardsson decides he's going to switch to a wider line, but Richardson, I think, knows how to ride Rickardsson around here, and this time he's riding a mid-track position, exactly where Tony Rickardsson would really like to be. Rickardson's having a go. He wants to join Leigh ADAMS. He wants to sit in there for a 5-1. Which way is Rickardsson going to mount his passing manoeuvre? He's not getting the drive off of bend 4 that he would like, but he's trying up the inside, and what a superb pass that is, by absolutely masterfully ride by Tony Rickardsson. He tried the inside, he tried the out, he looked for a gap, and Leigh Richardson just lost his concentration for a moment, and that's a superb race. Leigh ADAMS way out in front to clear the traffic. Tony Rickardsson, Sky will love that race, and I'm sure we're going to see Chris Leahy doing an action replay commentary in just a few moments, and I'm sure Tony Rickardsson will be back in the pits to give the TR view on exactly what went on in that one, but quite clearly it's a 5-1 heat victory to the Pirates, who now lead with 2 heats remaining, 52 points to 26. Absolutely wonderful Speedway. So we're lining up for heat 15. No surprises who that pairing is for Poole. It's Leigh ADAMS and Tony Rickardsson, 12 points to their credit each so far. It's ADAMS in the red helmet on grid 1, Rickardsson in the blue helmet on grid 3. Eastbourne, not a lot to choose from in terms of point scoring potential, but they've only had 2 heat winners this evening, and they're both out in this one. That's Leigh Richardson, who's in the yellow helmet on the wide outside, and he's joined by Dean Barker, who saw in heat 14 there take his first win of the evening, and he lines up in green from grid 2. So the Pirates potentially now going to record their biggest heat win, their match win of the season. They've already put 54 over Bellevue in the Elite League, which is their biggest league victory, and they put 56 over the Eagles in the Knockout Cup on Easter Friday. Now it looks, if they get a maximum this time, they could hit the 60 mark. It would be a 60-30 scoreline if they were to get win here, and I think that would put the bonus point way out of sight in the return next Saturday. Just remains to see how they fare in the match itself. And away goes Leigh ADAMS with Leigh Richardson and Tony Rickardsson, and in fact Dean Barker all sandwiched together behind him, but Rickardsson comes through to shut out Dean Barker. Richardson is in second place at the moment, so are we going to see another famous Tony Rickardsson pass? He's actually having a bit of trouble on the inside from Dean Barker at this stage, so Tony Rickardsson out in the dirt and getting a bit of drive off, but 2 laps gone. Leigh ADAMS now way out in front. Tony Rickardsson lining up Leigh Richardson. Richardson riding mid-track, and I'm not sure whether Rickardson's going to have the necessary to pass him this time, because I think Leigh Richardson made the mistake last time, but he makes exactly the same mistake, and Tony Rickardsson makes exactly the same pass up the inside, and although it threw him wide on that pitch bend, nevertheless he had the momentum to keep going and the skill to keep that bike going, and that raises the roof at Wimborne Road. We saw him do it earlier, race of the night in heat 13. Well, heat 15, you place your money, you take your choice, because they were both absolutely wonderful passes by Tony Rickardsson. He got the horses going down the straight, but he had the skill to hold it round the corner, and 5-1 heat victory to round off the proceedings in this memorable victory for the Pirates against their South Coast rivals. So with Leigh ADAMS winning the race, Tony Rickardsson second, Leigh Richardson third, Dean Barker fourth. The final scoreline in this very, very impressive Pirates victory is 60-30, and well, that will certainly cause a few hundred of the Pirates fans to be travelling down to Eastbourne next Saturday to support their team, I'm quite certain.
Well, Pirates can celebrate coming into their best form to date so far with a massive 60-30 point win over the Eagles today. I've got to say that the Eagles did look a little demoralised, and perhaps that injury to Mark Loram may well have coloured their performance here this afternoon and this evening. But certainly the Pirates will be well pleased with that massive win. And what about Davey WATT down there at number 7 with a massive 10 paid 14 score, and he's going home with a big fat paycheck, and it's a big payday for Matt Ford with 60 points to pay to his Poole Pirates. Well, that's not all from us. Don't forget there's more to come, so keep watching Pirate Videos and we'll be back in a moment.